Hello, YouTube. Solid Shepard here. Now, you may not have heard of me before. This is my first video. I just wanted to get on here and say that I really wanted to create some videos. And I mean, I've been around YouTube, commented. I really wasn't really going to get into the whole YouTuber thing um, until recently. A little background about me. I'm in the military. I'm currently serving world's finest navy. And I know you might think, oh, you can't have your own opinions. You're in the military. Well, that is actually false. You can have your own opinions as long as it doesn't contrast with that of the commander in chief, the president of the United States. And that is not what I'm here to do. Now, I plan on having a few series. This is going to be one of them. So, a little background on my interests. I've always been really into games. Big gamer. I know what you're all thinking. Oh no, it's some kid that's in his basement of his parents' house. He's probably going to shoot up a school somewhere because all gamers are evil. Anyone who's been following the news for the last couple of years, poor Anita Sarkeesian, attacked by all the gamers. When that's not true. I'm a perfect example. I'm actually sitting right now in my own apartment. Okay, I've been serving my country for 6 years. Recently re-enlisted. I'll be up about around 10, over 10 by the time that's out. So I obviously have some responsibilities. So first there's that. Second of all, you're like, oh, he's in the military. No, I'll tell you, my 6 years in the military, the only time I ever shot a gun was to get qualified so I could stand watches, which was just basically standing outside, to protect the ship. But I've never had to shoot at anybody. I've never had to point a gun at anybody. In fact, that's really, really frowned upon in the military. The Geneva Convention and all that. You can't just point a gun and shoot at someone. There's a lot of consequences that come with that. So that's not true. I've served a non-combat role. I've navigated multi-million-dollar warship for about 5 years, and now I am supporting reservists in a training capacity. I can't put out information about anything other than that, because that's privileged information. Operational security, OPSEC, and all that. Can't withhold that. But I've never killed anybody, and I'm a gamer. I have my own home. I'm making good figures. I'm comfortable. And I'm a normal person of society, but I'm a gamer. If you believe the media, then those two things can't be possible, but guess what? They are. Speaking of stuff that's been in the news lately, the reason why I wanted to make this video, and I bring up, the video games, is Gamergate. And that is what I was talking about earlier, what I alluded to. And they will make you, the media will make you believe with the whole Anita Sarkeesian having to have police escorts, the whole 9 yards, that gamers are these evil little trolls that live in basements. And that couldn't be further from the fact. Like I said, I have my life together. I have my own home. I have all that. I'm just like any guy. I love football. By the way, go Chiefs. Way to win a playoff game finally. But I digress. Back to the point. I'm obviously a contributing person in our society. Yeah, I'm a gamer. Now, that might not make sense to a lot of people that be watching the news. People sending death threats. Everyone's gotten death threats. This is my first video. I've gotten death threats in person before. Everyone gets death threats, not just the extremist third wave feminists. Now you might be wondering, wow, why are you just now jumping in on this? Well, I would ask that question too. But when all this really broke out in 2014, 2015, I was preparing for a deployment, and then I was on a deployment. I didn't get back, and then I had to live on the ship because I was going to transfer to shore duty. I didn't really have much, social interaction with the media. Didn't really see a lot of news. Didn't see all that. I got here, got my new apartment, where I'm at now. I'm not gonna tell you that, once again, OPSEC. But I'm where I'm at now, and then I got internet, TV, all that, and then over the holiday break, just like we all do, you decide to go on the YouTubes, right? Yes, I know that's not a real word. I'm just being funny. But, and then we all kind of, you might also like this video. You might also like this video. And you kind of fall yourself down the YouTube rabbit hole until you get to the dark, the dark places of YouTube. We've all been there a couple times. And then I see a video. It says, it's talking about Gamergate. And these feminists, I've never really used the word in a negative term my whole life because I believe in equality for everybody. Okay? You should have the fair shot that I have. Anywhere else, I do believe that. I do believe in being an egalitarian. Okay? Everything should be equal. You should only be judged on your merits, not something that you're born with. Okay? Whether it be skin color, disability, some people have Asperger's syndrome, and sometimes it's not a bad case, but it is a form of Down syndrome. But they can cope in normal society and be successful. They shouldn't be looked down upon on that. You shouldn't be looked down upon just because you're African American or Pacific Islander or any of that. You shouldn't be looked down on if you're a man or a woman. What matters is do you get the job done? And if you do, that's all that should really matter. That should be it. But the problem with this third wave feminism, and it's not about equality, okay? It is about destroying all men. And I'll get back to this point here in a little bit. Now, I came across Gamergate because, like I said, I fell into the YouTube hole. And then I heard, they started bringing up Gamergate, and they started bringing the whole Anita Sarkeesian, how she had to have police escorts and everything. I'm starting to look like, wow. I almost started going, wow, I'm a problem. Gamers are a problem. I started believing in myself. That is how good the media spin this. So then I went aside, you know what? Like an acceptable person of society, I'm going to go and do my own research just to see. Because you can't believe everything you see on the internet. You can't believe everything, CNN or Fox tell you. Because, Fox, far right. They spin stuff far right. CNN spread, they spin stuff far left. And the problem of being a gamer is the left and the right both hate us. The right hates us, the old battle. The old battle that games cause, devilish thoughts, and conservatives, the hardcore Christians and everything, that they're evil, and they're corrupting their child's minds. And then the far left recently with the whole feminism wave believes that it's teaching men to be misogynists, so both sides hate us. So I can't really take that at face value. So I go do my own research, see if Gamergate is really about the hate of women, right? So I'll go look at it, and the whole hate of women thing I found was a response to Gamergate. It's not Gamergate. There is a difference. It is the effect. The cause was the gamer media, the publications, the reporters, all that, all the people who really hold the power of the pen in the gaming culture went against their own kind, went against gamers. This has been a problem for a long time. Like, for the longest time, I got to so bad at the point where the only place I could go to get a legit review was the Angry Joe show here on YouTube. I love it. No holds barred. Even if I play the game, it's entertaining. And he's not corrupted by anything. He tells you what the game's really like, and I agree with about every one of his reviews. But he's really the only place I could go, because everywhere else, it's like they're paid by somebody. If you're a gamer, you understand. It's bad. And they've been going against us gamers for more than that, almost like also attacking us, just like the real media has. And they're supposed to be our representatives, not our enemies. and something went wrong there. But where it got really bad was when Zoe Quinn. This is where Gamergate came from. When Zoe Quinn was found, she was sleeping with multiple people at one website. It'll lose me right now which one it is, but y'all know. And it was Kotaku. And it turns out this really crappy game she was making, it was supposed to be feminist friendly. She was sleeping with, the writers at Kotaku to get good reviews. And the problem with that is the good reviews are going to make people want to buy the game. And if a certain game of a certain genre or type gets a lot bought, then guess what's going to happen? There's going to be more games made like that. There's going to be more. Excuse me. And when there's more games made like that, suddenly it becomes the norm and it changes the culture. So people who keep on saying, oh, Zoe Quinn's she's not the boogeyman, she's not going to steal our video games. Well, she will if it continues. Because the difference is, back in the day when it was like, gun control, video games cause violence and all that from the far right, the reason why we survived it is because our own, video game analysts, our own video gamers that are in the media, the guys that are like at Game Informer and Kotaku fought for us. They fought that, they debunked it, and that's why we survived. They are in the position of power. But where it becomes the problem is when they suddenly become against us, like they are now. And it can really change. They hold the influence in our culture. And don't make no mistake, it is a culture now. Video gaming has become a culture, the nerd culture. And that's such a problem. It really is. So that's what Gamergate is. Now everyone thinks it's just hate against women. But it's not. Us gamers, we love women. Okay? I've been single for a while now. Mainly because the Navy keeps me so busy. I am on shore duty now, so I have a little bit more time. A lot more time, but really anyone who's been in any branch of the military knows when you're in a status to where you're getting deployed a lot, you either come in married already or you're going to be in a relationship where you don't get to spend a whole lot of time with them and it's not going to end well. So it's tough. But the reason why I'm saying this is if I did find someone, my perfect idea of a girl would be a gamer girl, a girl who's involved in it. Girls always say, oh, guys attack us and feel like we're not real gamers and all that. No, that's false. We don't hate women being in our culture. We love it. Every single one of us does. Any male gamer will tell you that. And that's really the difference between the people who are behind Gamergate and the people and the feminists that are against it. Is because feminism does not allow you to be happy. I don't want to say feminism, basic feminism, because feminism at its most basic is equality for women, and that's a good fight. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I'm talking about the third wave feminism, the feminism extremists, the Zoe Quinns, the Anita Sarkeesians, those people. They are the problem. Okay? The feminists like Miss Summers, I'm sure a lot of you know who she is. She's a good one, okay? She's fighting the actual fight. The little bit of fight there is left. There really isn't a whole lot. I mean, under law, women have all the rights that anybody else has, that any man has. There is no rights that women don't have. Now, are they discriminating in certain areas? Of course. It's human nature. It's going to happen. People are going to have their opinions, and you're going to have your own different opinions. That's going to happen. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're a woman. It has to do with that your views conflict with the other individual's views. That is it. Does rape happen? Yes, rape happens. But guess what? It happens to men. In fact, most statistics show that it happens more to men than it does to women. And you got to also take into account with that number the amount of men who don't come forth with it. They'd rather keep it inside because they feel like it'll, demasculate them. You have to take that into account too. Women are much more likely to report being raped than men are. Yet, even with that, the statistics still show that men are raped more than women. Now, a bunch of feminists would love you to believe, especially with their slut walks or slut march or whatever it's called, whatever they're calling it these days, that we're in a rape culture. What? No, we're not. We are not in a rape culture. No, in no movie is a rapist glorified. Okay? You don't see Eye the Tiger playing as, Rocky Balboa punches some woman out as he rapes her. That doesn't happen. No. Now you will see movies where some scumbag is raping a woman, and then the main lead man will come along and beat the crap out of him, and then they'll have some inspirational music behind it because he's saving her. That will happen. Does that sound like glorifying the rapist? No, it's not. It's discouraging it. It's showing that any real man will not do that. Once again, there's a lot of people in this world. So obviously some people are going to have the views that raping is okay, and that's their views. It's not the views of all mankind, as in all men. We don't believe in that. If you believe we believe in that, then you have some other problems, And the people saying all men must die, there's a lot of third wave feminists that are out there saying that, drinking the coffee cups to say, man tears or male tears on them. You're no better than the rapists, okay? You're no better than the rapists. You're doing the same freaking thing. Rape's not funny. No, show me one instance in our society where rape was, glorified, legitly, with any kind of following. Please, video response me. Let me know. It doesn't exist. Okay? You know what a rape culture is? A bunch of third world countries, a bunch of the Middle Eastern countries. I've been to them. I've seen it. Women aren't even allowed to show their face. Showing their hair is considered a sexual heinous act, and if they're married, they shouldn't do it. Okay? Those are misogynistic cultures. This place isn't. If you're a woman, look at Hillary Clinton. You can run for president, and you can wear a pantsuit. Okay? I mean, even last year, Sarah Palin also ran for vice president. If you're a woman, you can be a porn star and be naked and, have sex. Get paid to have sex on a camera. If you're a woman in this country, you can develop video games. I guarantee you there's plenty of successful women making legit AAA titles in the video games. If you're a woman, you can be, a superstar in the media. There's several superstar, women, in movies, the divas, the actresses. There's plenty of them in music. I mean, heck, I guarantee you there are more big time women names in the music industry than there are men right now. And if it's not more, it's pretty darn close. Anyone from Lizzie Hale, from the lead singer of Hailstorm in rock and roll, to Rihanna, in hip hop, they're everywhere. It's not unheard of. It's really not. And the wage gap, it doesn't exist. I mean, you got to look at the jobs. The statistic is such a broad thing. Certain jobs, women are going to be more prevalent than men. In certain jobs, men are going to be more prevalent than women. That's not saying that there's no men in the women jobs and there's no women in the man-dominated jobs. It just depends. And to say there's a wage gap is ridiculous. Because yes, if you're a CEO of a business And you've been in the business since, before the whole women's rights movements, and, before women actually got to where it is now. You're a very, very old gentleman. You got more experience in the field. You got seniority. So, of course, you're going to get paid more than any of the women. But you take a step down to the other jobs under him, and also CEO, it's a high position. He's going to get paid the most. So that's going to, inflate the average. But say you got an accountant. Okay, you got two accountants working under the CEO. One of them's a man and one of them's a woman. They both been to the same school, same exact schools. Let's say they went to the same exact schools, got the same exact grades. They got the same exact time in the job, same everything across the board. The only difference is they're male and female. I guarantee you they make the same freaking amount. In the military, there's not even any gender involved. You know? It goes off of rank and time in service. That's it. Flat across the board. They don't care if you're male or female. Doesn't matter. And recently they opened up all combat roles to women. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing to fight for. Third wave feminists, just stop. Please. Okay? Now, what is next here? Why Gamergate is not necessarily against women. I believe I already touched on this earlier. Us men, we're not against female gamers. I guarantee you about 99% of us invite it. But here's the thing. Here's the thing you women need to understand. This is a culture that we made for ourselves. We weren't always invited into the other cultures. Me, I'm kind of like I played football. I used to be a football player, but I never associated myself as a jock. Okay, I never did that. I had plenty of nerd friends, plenty of skateboarder friends, plenty of female friends. It didn't matter. I was cool with whoever was cool with me. That's it. That's about it. Where the issue comes in though is look at it from the person who didn't have the skills, didn't have the natural, size or genetics to be a jock. Okay? And so let's say they're too short, right? So they can't really play any sports. They never really, they got a little bit too fat, or maybe they were too skinny. They never, so no girls really wanted anything to do with them. They weren't accepted by anybody. So they went to other people like them, the skinny kids that weren't too weak and the fat kids who were too ugly. And they created their own culture. They sit each other at, the nerd table. Everyone made fun of, in high school that wasn't a nerd. They made fun of the nerd table, right? And they sat together and they talked about these comic books that they just bought, and this happened, twist, these books they read, these new computer programs they were working on, these video games they played. They would talk about it, past cheat codes that they found out for the game, and they would talk about it, and that's how they got through high school. That was their social group. That was their clique. That was their group. But everyone always belittled them. They had to go through it. Some of them got beat up, got atomic wedgies, but they always had each other to fall back on. And when they got older, some of them went into fields in these things. Others weren't as lucky, but they still constantly bought them and played these things, to get a little escape from reality, from their mundane lives. And it kind of all snowballed to where enough of these people grew older, and it became a culture. They created it. It was theirs. It wasn't our culture. I mean, I'm part of the culture, but I'm saying if I was just a straight up jock or a straight up little diva, woman in high school who was just beautiful and everyone, catered to me. All these different cultures that they already had that have been around since, basically the 80s. or before, they created their own culture because there wasn't one that they fit in. It's theirs. And let's face it, 90% of them throughout the 90s, maybe late 80s, weren't women. They weren't. So now these people struggled. They went through the pain and they finally vindicated themselves. And then their culture came under attack by the right wing, saying video games caused violence, even though wasn't really any statistics to prove it. But then these people who also were part of their group but got older and became video game journalists fought back. They fought it, and they made it through that. So they grew even closer. This group, this culture, this is really when it became a culture, is because that adversity brought the culture so close, brought the group so close together that it really became unified. It became a culture. Now, I mean, like video games, you got people, making money, like a bunch of money, playing video games professionally now. It's on Vogue for a while. Not now, because it's not on Vogue now because it's under attack again. But, for being sexist, they created it. It's theirs. They went through the struggle. They went through the pain. And on the end, they stood tall and high. And their culture was so cool that everybody who ridiculed it suddenly wanted to be a part of it. They wanted in on it. And you know what? That's fine. That just makes the culture bigger. None of them had a problem with it. Here's the problem. And once again, this is not what Gamergate was about, but this is what it's become. Is people like Anita Sarkeesian who went in on the culture. You kind of cold. The swimming pool's kind of cold, so you tip one little toe in there. She kind of tipped one little toe in there, maybe got her full foot in. And then she decided she didn't like it. So she went to go change it. Here's the problem. That's the problem. Okay? That's the problem with third wing feminists. It's been a problem for a long time. But once you started Gamergate, once you started attacking video gamers, this became the problem. I mean, ignoring the fact that Anita Sarkeesian is on video, which is all over YouTube, stating that she wasn't a gamer, but then she turns around and tries to say she's a gamer, and then there's a picture where she has all these games that she's has her arm leaned on, and oh, look at me, I'm a gamer, even though 90% of the games that she's leaning on are all the ones that she says are the problem and are misogynist and all that. Why attack it? Here's the problem. Us gamers do not mind if you are a woman, if you are a female, and you love games, and you want to be a part of the culture. No problem with that at all. No issues. The problem becomes when you come in and you decide you don't like our culture that we fought so hard for and try to take it away from us. You try to steal it and make it your own. You try to make it into your image instead of ours. That is the problem. Now, The View. The show The View. Women, especially, mothers who, don't have to work, the stay-at-home moms, very respectable. That's very respectable. No problems with that. But they're only really the people who are able to stay home. So The View, you have those 4 or 5 women on there. They talk. It's for women. I hate it. Honestly, I don't like it. But you know what? It's not my culture. It's not for me. So I don't like it. So, oh well, I'm going to stay out of it. I don't stick my head and go, I don't like this. I think you should have at least a couple men on there and try and change The View. No, it's not meant for me. It's meant for someone else. That doesn't mean you can't be a guy and, be into more of those feminine things. You can be. And if you are like that, then you are welcomed into that culture. But if you don't fall into that category, then you're, no. If some masculine guy came up and said that, tried to change The View or tried to change romantic comedies, or the Hallmark Channel or whatever, I would be like, screw off, dude. No. It's not for you. Get out of there. Just like I do with video games. or action movies. It's directed toward us, and there are women who are all about that. You know what? Honestly, those are about the most sexiest women alive. I'll tell you what. Like like Zoe Quinn, if she wasn't such a feminist and for lack of a better term, a bitch, trying not to cuss on on YouTube, but you get what I'm saying. If she, she would be cute at least a little bit, right? She's got like the dyed hair, the glasses. She likes wearing the choker, you know, and she is in the games. But the problem is she's trying to change it. Anita Sarkeesian's problem is she's trying to change it when it's not theirs to change. And also they bring up no facts and then they straight up lie. They lie about the games. And that is where the hate comes from. Because you were trying to take away our identity that we fought for so long, and then you're trying to lie about it. And that is not okay. And you know it's not okay because you're canceling any kind of comments that could be made on your videos. You're blocking anybody who tries to have a discussion with you on Twitter. It's ridiculous. But somehow the masses are buying it and eating it up. It's just not right. It's wrong. It's completely wrong and immoral. Now, once again, some of the feminists might go on me and be like, "Oh, you're just a hate monger. You're anti-feminist." No, nuh-uh. No, I'm not. I'm not anti-feminist. I'm anti-third wave feminist. But here's the problem with these third wave feminists is they have taken away feminism from the feminists. Think about that for a second. I want you to ask yourself, does the first Republican president candidate ever was Abraham Lincoln? Not 100% on that. There might have been, I'm 99%. He was definitely the first one to get elected, though. And I want you to ask yourself something. You don't think Abraham Lincoln was a bad president, right? He did a lot of good things. He's celebrated as one of the best ever. Hell, Obama even tries to compare himself to him sometimes. Once again, in the military, I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. It's just a fact he does. And a lot of people try to forget that he was, in fact, a Republican, which is, Republican's like a dirty word nowadays. I don't understand why, but it is. Now, I will go ahead and say I am a middle of the road Republican. I side with most of Republican ideals, but I look at all the, I have voted Democrat on certain things. For instance, I'm not for abolishing, abortion. I believe that should be the woman and the prospective father's decision they make upon themselves. Some old man in Congress shouldn't decide that for them. Who am I to decide what they do with their child that's not even alive yet? It's still, just sperm and an egg. But, that's not my call. And that's what I believe. It's not my call. So, anyways, there's that. Anyways, the Republican Party, even the Democratic Party for that instance, they have both become corrupt and really just power hungry throughout the years. And let me ask you, does the word Republican or the word Democrat stand for what it originally stood for? And if that answer is no, then let me ask you this. Is the word feminism, does the word feminism still stand for what it originally stood for, which is, women's equality. Let me help you with that. The answer is no. Because third wave feminism. There are still some original feminists, like I said, but just like the people who really stand for the Democratic beliefs and the people who really stand for the Republican beliefs are never going to get elected to any kind of position of power because they don't fit the agenda. The real feminists do not fit the third wave feminist agenda. Okay? And that's the truth. And that's the problem. Third wave feminists, or feminism as we know it today, does not want women equality, it wants women dominance. The people opposed to Gamergate don't want equal representation. They want to destroy the male gaming culture completely. They want it gone. If these feminists had their way, they would have all of us men locked up in pods, like in the Matrix, how they barely kept people alive while they were plugged in, the machines. And then they would only come in with like a semen extractor every once in a while to get our semen so they could reproduce. That'd be it. And anyone who's done any actual research or ever actually watched any of these feminists would know that that's the truth. Here's the thing, is the third wave feminists have destroyed feminism as we know it. Feminism as we know it now is Anita Sarkeesian. Feminism as we know it now is Zoe Quinn. Feminism as we know it now is coffee mugs that say male tears on them. Feminism as we know it now is hashtag all men must die. That's the truth. I hope some of you people that are watching this that are not for Gamergate, that believe they're feminists because all these videos that say feminism is for equality of all people. Feminism isn't sexist. I'll tell you a few reasons why it's bullshit. Okay? First of all, the definition. The definition clearly states that feminism means the fight for equality for women. Yes, I know that's not the verbatim, but it does say in it, for women. Not men and women, but for women. Therefore, the word feminist, in essence, in its true spiritual form, is indeed sexist, because it is only for one sex. Now, yes, once upon a time, it was for a positive sexist message, okay? And no one denies that. No one denies that women needed the right to vote. No one denies the fact that women needed to be able to have jobs, and they were people too, and they deserved the same, chances to go out and have a career and all of that. No one denies that. But the fact is that fight has already been won. It's over. At this point, you're no better. Anita Sarkeesian is no better than Reverend Al Sharpton. She's keeping her own people down by making them believe that they are oppressed, and then she's making money off of it. Because her people rising up and being successful is not profitable for her. Anita Sarkeesian is the biggest enemy to true feminism there is. I don't know why people don't see it. It's because people don't do their own research anymore. They don't educate themselves. They just listen to what the freaking news says and they eat it all up. Anyone who's a far right Republican and only watches Fox News, and anyone who's a far left liberal and only watches CNN are both wrong. Do your research. Become educated on the facts, on reality. Stop living in your own little virtual world, and that's coming from a gamer, so you know shit's getting real. Please pull your heads out of the gutter and fight this complete bullshit. I beg you. Once upon a time, feminism was needed. It's not anymore. It's a false accusation, is all it is. If you really believe that you need to fight for more, that there's still a fight, then you believe one thing. And that is that you believe women should have more rights than men. There is no patriarchy. There is not. It doesn't exist. Anyone who screams patriarchy, patriarchy, patriarchy is a bigger fearmonger than Glenn Beck. And that, my friends, is the God honest truth. So please, 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 stop being a feminist and start being an egalitarian. Equality for all. Not men, not women, not African Americans, not Asians, not Pacific Islanders, but all people. And please stop trying to change the culture that's not meant for you. Now, I mean, if you come into the culture and you like it, please stay. You know, we always welcome. We always welcome more. Just one more person, you know, to play a death match with or play a pickup game of Madden, you know. Just one more person. One more person to quest with, you know, on MMOs. That's always welcome. And me personally, I will always welcome any girl who has the same love for video games and or sports that I do. That's awesome. And gamer girls always have the best sense of humor. You're welcome. You are welcome. But you're not welcome to change it if it doesn't suit what you think it should be. That is not okay. Anyways, this was the first video. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it yet, but it's pretty much a grind my gears kind of thing, current events. I'm going to do a video like this. I'm going to continue to do videos, two other kinds. Like I said, the whole Gamergate thing really spun me to do this. But now that I am doing it, I will also want to do a series on video game based things. You know, no politics or anything like that, like this is, but just, you know, video games in general, just talking about it. You know, gaming news. But then I also want to do something, you know, like a Kansas City Chiefs podcast kind of feel thing also, because I'm a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan and I'm a huge football guy. Like I said, that's my other passion is football. So I'm going to try and have basically like 3 series. This is one of them. But like I said, the thing that inspired me with this, there's a few people. Teal Deer, a big one, big one is Thunderfoot. He gets a lot of bad rap, but him and Bearing and uh hold on, there's one other person, or their name is escaping me right now. But yeah, Thunderfoot. Oh, Sargon. Big one was Sargon. Um, but yeah, Thunderfoot was probably the biggest one. I mean, he's an accredited scientist, and he hits on a lot of good points, and he has a lot of detractors. I mean, they all do. But the reason why I liked him so much is because they're not hateful like their detractors are. They're always very calm, sitting back. I mean, Thunderfoot's really the only one that you ever actually see his face, like I'm doing here. But which I really wanted to do, because I wanted to be more personal. I didn't want to do a character, I wanted to speak to you. I feel like that's always appreciated, but he always has facts. And really, I mean, his video, quality is almost on par with, Anita Sarkeesian with all the millions of funding she's had. But, a lot of people hate on Thunderfoot, but he does nothing but tell the truth. He tells the truth, and he gives you screenshots, videos, statistics, stories, proof, studies, graphs, and he talks at an even tone, not hateful, just presenting the facts to you and being like, this is not right and this is why. But then somehow people still hate him. I don't get it. I don't get it. This is just the third way of feminism. They're so stuck in their false ideology that they refuse to see the truth. And that truth is that violence oriented crimes across the board have only decreased since since video games have become a mainstream culture of their own about the mid 90s. It's like decreased every single year exponentially. And that includes shootings, rape, etc. They've all decreased. So there's really no correlation with what they're trying to say, that gamers are this evil thing. There is none. Anyways, thanks for watching. This has been Solid Shepard. I hope to see you guys again on, future videos. Hopefully by next time I'll actually have the titles worked out.